Welcome to chemistry class with an Christopher GK. Of course, he's your chemistry teacher, and in this particular video, we'll be looking at a very important topic in chemistry. And before we begin this particular class, remember, if you have not subscribed to the channel, if you are watching this particular video class on YouTube, do well to subscribe by just doing what? Tapping the red icon in your screen right away, and you are good to go. All right, let's look at the topic for the day or for this particular video. The topic is chemistry laboratory apparatus. We want to know the chemistry apparatus, and it's expected by the end of this particular class, you should be able to list the chemistry laboratory apparatus and their uses. And next thing, you should be able to know or list the chemistry laboratory setup. You should be able to explain. If you see a particular setup in chemistry, you know what is it for. You know some setups we have in chemistry in the lab. Then the next one, you should be able to also understand some laboratory accidents and the precautions that one needs to take, safety precautions in the lab. We are going to start by, first of all, understanding what chemistry laboratory is. A chemistry laboratory is a place, usually a room. No matter how large it is, it may be a hall in the size, where scientific experiments are performed by a piece, or where we use pieces of apparatus and chemical reagents. Where we carry out chemistry experiments is where we call chemistry lab. Where we use one apparatus or the other. Apparatus means the equipment, one equipment or the other with reagents, which are the chemicals, do one or two things. Where we do such things, where we call chemistry laboratory, or in short form, chemistry lab. We perform scientific experiments in such a place. And we need to understand that this is just a typical example of chemistry lab, where you see several tables and benches. You can see fire extinguisher, exit, outgoing, and some chemicals also here, exit of the lab, and some things you can see here. So this is just an example of chemistry lab. It depends on your school. It depends on the one you have there. But here you can see some, it's expected that you should see benches, you see reagents, which are the chemicals at the shelf, and fire extinguisher must have to be there, the gases, cylinders, and all of that. So this is an example of chemistry lab where such thing we want to discuss is. So laboratory, chemistry laboratory, this is this example of it. Now, chemistry laboratory apparatus, we want to talk about it. Mostly all the apparatus are usually made up of glasses, such as Paris, something like soda glass, beaker, test tube, etc. Most of them are glasses. They are breakable. We still have some that are wooden materials. We still have some that are metals. We still have plastic in the lab, and porcelains. So some are improvised, meaning that they can be made locally, such as bamboo for making what? Measuring cylinder, coconuts, shells for making what? Beaker. We can still use all those ones. But most of the times, in this modern age, we do normally buy in the market and have all these breakable materials. Okay, so let's talk about some of the apparatus we have in the lab and what they are being used for. One is beaker, and beaker, we can see beaker is made up of glass, and it has a flat bottom and cylindrical shape. Is graduated in the sense that there is labeled. It will be, you will see it either is 250 in size, or 500, or 1000, or 200 and 250. Depends. Is labeled. That is what we mean. Is graduated means it's calibrated. That is what we mean. Beaker is graduated, and usually it's normally have lip for easy pouring. You can see the lip of this one, lip of this one, lips of this, lip of this one, lip of this one. Now, what we use it for? We use it to keep reagents for chemical tests. When we are carrying out our tests, or doing one test or the other, maybe titration or whichever, which is quantitative analysis. We also use it for holding and pouring liquids. It is also used in measuring of volume of liquids. Of course, since it's graduated, it's calibrated, we can use it to measure volume of liquids. The next one we need to understand is separating funnels. Separating funnel is not just normal funnel. It looks like this. Look at it. Look at it. It's made up of glass, a short stem. You can see that the stem is not much, and it has stopcork, and it has stopper. And you can see that the shape, the way it is, that is what we call separating funnel. So this one has content, while others, these ones don't have, but they are all separating funnel. What we use it for? We use it in the separation of immiscible liquids. An example is separation of what? Kerosene and water. We can use it to separate them because they will have different layers. And they will have layers that separate two of them. All right, another one is evaporating dish, or we call it evaporating basin. Of course, it is normally made by porcelain, and we can see it's been round bottom or flat bottom. It can be round bottom, it can be flat bottom, but usually shallow. It doesn't used to have deep inside. This is a evaporating funnel, evaporating dish, evaporating basin, whichever way you can call it. This is it. That is it. So what we use it for? We use it in the evaporation of liquid solution to dryness, or to concentrate a solution when it's being heated. When it's being heated, evaporation takes place from it. Next one we need to understand is what? Tripod stand, wire gauze, and Bunsen burner. So we'll take them one after the other. Tripod stand, look at the word. Tripod means three. 1, 2, 3. Tripod stand, we use it as tripod stand. You can see this one is circle. This one is also triangular. So it is used as a support for flasks when heating. We put it here when we want to heat a particular thing. It could either be round at the top, or it could also be triangular. All right, it's made of iron. Everything around it is iron. This one is wire gauze, and this is it. We normally put it on top of this particular tripod stand when heating. Wire gauze is made up of iron match with asbestos center. Look at it. Asbestos is what is in the center. What we have here is usually placed on top of tripod stand as a support for the flask or boiling tube when heating. Of course, I have said that before. Next one is Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner, we're supposed to have space here in between these. Bunsen burner is this. Bunsen burner is this. It's used in providing heat, which is high temperature by the combustion of liquefied gas. Not only liquefied gas, anything you want to heat. It is composed of what? Metal tube with a wide range of metal base. Look at it. This is what we call Bunsen burner. This is Bunsen burner. This is Bunsen burner. It is sometimes positioned in between the legs of the tripod stand when heating. So this is also a tripod stand. Tripod stand that has the circle space. Look at this. This is also a tripod stand, but the length, this thing now is not tripod stand, but the tripod stand is this. Tripod stand is this, and we can also use it. This one we have the name we are coming. I will talk about that. Now, so Bunsen burner is this. When you put it in between the tripod stand, it can still is being used for heating. Either this one or the other stand, or the other this one. You can put it in between in between the legs. You can use it for heating. All right, the next one is distillation flasks. Distillation flask. This is the distillation flask. This is also distillation flask. It depends on the size and the one you want. It has a flat or round. This is flat, is for flat. This is for round bottom, made up of glass with slanting side arm. You can see this arm is slant. This is slant. It's being used during distillation Another one is mortar and piston. This is piston, this is piston, this is piston, while this one is mortar. Mortar, the way we use mortar at home to pound something, pound yam or cassava, or anything you want to make. This one we also use it for that, for grinding something or crushing solid into powdered form. It's really made of porcelain. All right, that is it. Mortar. When you see this thing in the lab, know that it's mortar. Or that we can name all of them and begin to talk about their uses, but these are different apparatus in the lab or equipment. This is glass stopper, stopped burette. This is burette. This is burette. We have, this is now glass stopper. This one is what we don't use. This one we don't use clip on this one. We use this one. We use glass stopped burette. So the tip is glass, while this one is volumetric flask. Small size of it is 250. We have different size of 1000 cm cube, which is 1 dm cube. This is funnel. This is graduated cylinder. This is test tube. This is test tube rack where we put it. You can see several of them here. We can see several of them, beaker and even wash bottles and all of that. Gas collecting tube, measuring pipette. This is pipette, where we, most of the times is 20 or 25. Most of the times is 25. We have 20 cm cube or 25 cm cube. Steering rod and thermometer and many others. We still have all these ones. This is for brush, test tube brush. This is a clamp, pinch clamp. We have a test tube holder. We have wash glass. We have evaporating dish. We have many of them. So as you look at it now, you see several apparatus that we use in the lab. Okay, the other one we have talked before is stand. We call it retort stand, or call it drink stand. So this is Bunsen burner that I talked of before, burner, and many other ones you can see here. So these are chemical apparatus. Now, let's talk about the setups in the lab. We have different setups, things that we do set up in the lab, and a chemistry laboratory setup is the combination of 2 or more apparatus. When 2 or more apparatus is being joined together, is being clipped together with 1 or 2 things, they are being arranged in such a manner that the setup is workable. It's been set up to carry out a particular thing. So one of them is filtration. Filtration, we use retort stand, clamp, and funnels, filter paper, and all of that. So filter paper, filter, funnel, residue is what is here, clamp, filtrate is what we have here, and this is retort stand. So you see, those apparatus is being set in a way that it can be used to carry out something. This is distillation. We have retort stand with clamps too, and we put this one live condenser, retort stand again, and all of that. So it's also another laboratory setup is what? Simple distillation, filtration setup, simple distillation setup, fractional distillation setup. This is flask, of course, Bunsen burner. All of them, thermometer, we have the live condenser, conical flask, and all of that. So fractional distillation, hot plate with magnetic stirrer. We have talked about the stirrer before. So here we also have pepper chromatography. It's also another setup we can have in the lab. Then this is also desiccator. Desiccator. This is for drying agents. We can see opening here, opening here. You put something here to under it and put what you want to dry, and it will dry, absorb water from it. So this is a setup also. What you put inside there is a drying agent, and it will use it to dry. Another setup is titration, which is volumetric analysis, or call it quantitative analysis. This is a setup. This is clamp, retort stand. This is clamp. This is burette. This is a burette with a glass stopper. This is conical flask. This is now a reagent bottle for indicator. This is now evaporating dish or setup, evaporation of a solute. We have talked about it. This is Bunsen burner and all of that. This is another, that is number 8. Chemistry, we are talking about laboratory setups. Then we need to now understand some accidents that can occur in the lab. Of course, laboratory accidents are sometimes unpleasant, of course, undesirable and damaging that happens unexpectedly or by chance in the laboratory. That's what we mean by laboratory accident. We have to be careful because chemicals, some of them can explode, some of them can catch fire, some of the glasses can break, and all of that. So the laboratory accidents are as follow: glass cut, it can break in that conical flask, measuring cylinder, any of them can break and cut you. Fire can break out, acid burn, acid can pour on you, inhaling toxic gases, explosion, electric shock is also there, swallowing toxic chemical. Maybe when you are pipetting base, corrosive base, or anything in titration. These are laboratory accidents. Now, what will you do? You need to take some precautions. You need to take some precautions, which are the safety precautions you need to follow. Why? Because there are dangers. Now, one is that always wear glass wares using fragile, always handle glass wares being fragile. Of course, glass wares are fragile with care to avoid glass cuts. When you are handling, because most of them are glass wares, when you are handling them, handle them with care. Handle them with care. Never use sodium, potassium, phosphorus, or concentrated acid or alkalis unless you are specifically told to do so, especially told to do so by your instructor, by your teacher. These chemicals are corrosive, they are dangerous. If you are not being instructed or told how to use it, don't tamper with them, because touching water can be a problem, or touching your body can be a problem. So always do this when you are being instructed and how to do it to avoid the acid burn, explosion, or fire. All right. Do not taste or drink any chemical. Don't, because they are not food. And never smell any chemical directly. We don't smell any chemical directly. Rather, we do this. We use this way. When you bring the chemical beside you, you do this way. As you do it, your hand will perceive it. This is to avoid swallowing or inhaling toxic chemicals. All right, do not mix chemicals aimlessly. Don't just come to the lab and begin to mix chemicals anyhow. No. Or carry out any experiment except when instructed to do so by your instructor or your teacher to avoid explosion or fire breakouts. Never do so. Chemistry lab could be dangerous if you don't know what to do there. Now, do not put any glowing splint or a burning pepper in the waste bin to avoid what? Fire breakout also. Do not touch or hold any electric instrument with wet hands. Don't do so. It will have an electric shock. All accidents should be reported immediately to your facilitator or your teacher or your instructor immediately. Don't waste time. Laboratory coats must be worn to protect clothing from soiling, damage from accidents of various sorts. Wearing of lab coat should be compulsory. Don't joke with it. Don't joke with yourself, because it could be a protective measure for you. All right, another thing is we have talked about the danger part of it. Next thing now is cleanness. Cleanness is another thing we need to look into. In terms of cleanness and the expensive part of it, pour liquids only down the sink or funnel and never pour solid into to avoid blockage. And this one now, in the lab, we are talking about precautions you need to take in the lab. In this funnel now, pour only liquid in this particular funnel. Don't pour solid into it to avoid blockage. That is one of the things you need to know. We are talking about the danger. Generally we are talking about precautions. We are talking about the dangers that are in the lab. Now, the cleanness aspect of it, now what you need to do, pour liquid only in this funnel. Next thing is that clean the apparatus after use and replace them in their proper places. Whenever you brought them out from, at the end of your practicals, replace them, wash them, and keep them back. Wipe down your benches or your bench and leave it clean and dry. Next thing is that do not light the Bunsen burner or other sources of light until required. Don't just on it in the lab when you are not told to do so or when they are needed. Turn it off when no longer required. Once you are done with what you are doing, turn it off. Fire is not expected to be on in the lab unnecessarily. All right, this is what we are just trying to say. The Bunsen burner, owning it, the gas tap, owning it. So do not bring any food items. Don't eat the way these people are eating in the lab is not good. Do not eat, do not drink in the laboratory, and avoid eating, drinking, or smoking in the laboratory. No eating, no drinking in the lab. Lab means laboratory. We don't permit that. Don't do that in the laboratory. All right, that is what we have talked so far. And for further discussion and inquiry, do well to contact me through this particular contact. For my phone contact or WhatsApp line, or through my email address at christo116@gmail.com. Thank you for being part of this particular class and being blessed. Make sure that you also watch the next video that will be uploaded. Thank you.